going to discuss on the oil price war. So this topic is important because presently it is in news. And before going to discuss on the oil price war, we will discuss some important organizations which are related to oil price war, like OPEC and OPEC plus. Then we'll go to discuss on the background of the war. Okay, so what is the condition that lead to the war between mainly Russia and Saudi Arabia? And last, we'll discuss on the impact of the war. Okay, so what is the impact of this war on different countries like India, China, and Japan? And we'll take the example of India uh, more specifically. So now we'll discuss on the OPEC. So what is OPEC? So it is an organization of petroleum exporting countries. So it was formed on the 14th of September 1960. So initially it was consist of 5 members like Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Iran, Kuwait, and Venezuela. And at present it is consist of around 13 nations. And its headquarters is in Vienna, that is in Austria. And these OPEC members accounts for around 44% of the global oil productions, and around 81.5% of the world oil reserves. Okay. So next we'll discuss on what is OPEC plus. So OPEC plus, so some non-member countries, OPEC countries, non-OPEC countries, they wanted to make an alliance with the OPEC countries, and as a result of which, uh, on December 2016, OPEC Plus was formed. So it consists of around 10 members like Russia, South Sudan, Azerbaijan, Bahrain, Brunei, Kazakhstan, Malaysia, Mexico, and Oman. Okay, so the main objectives of these countries to make an alliance with is to have a more control over the global crude oil productions. Okay. Now the background of the war. So before going to discuss of this background of the war, so I want to discuss some general concept, okay, related to production and supply. How this production and supply related to price fall and price rise. So we all know that when the demand of a product is more and its supply is less, then it will lead to the price rise. Similarly, when the demand of a product is less and its supply is more, then it will lead to the price fall. So this is applicable to all the commodities, and this is entire oil war concept is based on this idea. So as we all know that due to the occurrence of COVID-19 pandemic, and the entire countries of the world are badly affected. Okay, as a result of which almost all the countries of the world have declared lockdown, so which has restricted the transportations, as well as all the industries are also closed. Okay, so as a result of which there is a low demand for oil there. So if the oils are produced at the same rate as it was produced before this pandemic, then definitely the price of the oil will go down there. So in order to overcome this problem, so the OPEC countries, they met it at Vienna at their headquarters on the 5th of March 2020. Okay, in that meeting some decisions are taken, and one of the most important decision was that they decided to reduce the oil productions by 1.5 million barrel per day, so that the price remains stable and oil producing countries will be able to earn profit. Okay, so these OPEC countries also requested the non-OPEC countries so to curtail their productions, okay, so that everyone can earn profit. Okay, but Russia refused to obey this proposal, and uh, and it raised its oil productions. This is a root cause of the conflict between Russia and Saudi Arabia, and this has led to the occurrence of this oil price war. Now it is very interesting that why we all know that when the particular demand of a particular product going low, and and it's if it's supply if it is produced at a higher rate, then definitely the price of this product will fall. It will definitely have a negative impact on Russia as well, on the because the price of the crude oil price will go down. But although it has negative impact on Russia, but why it is supporting, why it want to increase more oil, disobeying the decisions of the OPEC? It is very interesting. Okay, then we will discuss now we will discuss why Russia wanted to do so. So it is the main uh, objectives of Russia is to destroy the private uh, companies of oil producing private companies of USA. Okay, so initially around 20 to 30 years ago, so USA was a oil importing countries like India, but all of we know that at present USA is one of the global player in the oil in the oil exporting among the oil exporting countries, and it is the number one oil exporting country. Okay, so it is due to the revolution that occurred in USA around 2010 and 14, and this revolution, name of the revolution is cell energy revolution. Now what is cell energy revolution? Cell energy revolution. So what is cell energy revolution? It is a new technique of oil drilling. It extracts oil from the existing oil fields in a more profitable way. Okay, as a result of which USA becomes the number one oil producer countries, and USA has snatched away the market share of both Russia and Saudi Arabia. Initially, both Russia and Saudi Arabia, they wanted to produce more oil so that the price of the crude oil will go down, and it will impact, and as a result of which they thought that it will impact the uh, this as the price of the crude oil will go down, it will impact the private industries of oil producing industries of USA, because we all know that in USA government do not interfere in the activities of the or in the activities of the uh, industry. Okay, but their assumption was wrong, because only few of the small oil producing private companies of USA become bankrupt, but most of their big companies like like Exor, Exor, and as well as the Exxon and Chevron, they survive because they have enough money in their balance sheet. So uh, but Russia still believe that they can root out a USA private company from the competition, and hence Russia wanted to produce more. Okay, but at present Saudi Arabia does not believe this strategy. So as a result, this conflict occurs between Russia and Saudi Arabia. Okay, so there are also some other reasons why Russia wanted to uh, attack on the USA. Number one is that the USA has imposed a lot of sanctions on the different business of Russia. Number one is that USA imposes sanctions on Russia oil farms over Venezuela, and USA also imposes sanctions on the Nord Stream 2 projects of Russia. It is a Russian gas pipelining project to supply gas to the European countries, mostly Germany. As a result of which, uh, Russia shows such a attitude towards USA. Okay, so now what are the impact of this oil war? As we have already discussed, that some small private companies of USA might actually become bankrupt, but big companies like Exxon and Chevron do not have any impact. as they have enough money in their balance sheets. Okay, and it will also do not have any impact on the big major oil exporting countries like Saudi Arabia and Russia. Okay, because they have already a lot of reserves, but it will have a very severe impact on the small oil exporting countries like Iraq, Iran, Malaysia, Indonesia, Ivory Coast, Azerbaijan and Kazakhstan, because these countries are solely depend on oil export. Okay, but this oil war will have a very positive impact on the oil importing countries like India, China and Japan. So we'll discuss the example of, we will take the example of India. So in the financial year 2019, India oil import bill was around $112 billion. Okay, and it is estimated that in the financial year of 2020, if this present price of crude oil continues, okay, the Indian oil import bill will be around 64 billion dollar, which is half of the previous year. Okay, it will have a very good impact on Indian economy. Okay, because it will enhance the foreign exchange reserves of India, and it will also help to decrease the current account deficits and minimize or balance current account deficits and as well as the fiscal deficits of the government of India. So what is current account deficits? When the import of a country is more than the export, uh, then it is called then it leads to the current account deficits. And similarly, what is fiscal deficit? So fiscal deficit means when the government income is less or revenue earned is less as compared to the expenditure, it will lead to the fiscal deficits. So as a result of this crude oil, oil price war, so government of India will able to decrease its current account deficits as well as fiscal deficits. Okay, it will strengthen the economy of the country. So that's all about the oil war. Thank you very much.